My sleep paralysis wasn't in my head. They tell you sleep paralysis is harmless, that it's just your brain misfiring between dreaming and waking, that the shadow in the corner, the pressure on your chest, the feeling that something is watching you isn't real. But the night I recorded it, I wasn't alone in my room. And whatever was standing around my bed wasn't part of my dream. My name is Lena Whitaker. I'm 29 years old. I live alone. And for most of my life, I suffered from sleep paralysis. It started when I was 15. At first, it was classic textbook stuff. Wake up, can't move, chest feels heavy, hallucinations in the corner of my vision, the feeling of being watched. Doctors told me it was stress, anxiety, hormones, lack of REM regulation, so I learned to live with it. Most episodes lasted less than a minute. I'd lie there, frozen, staring at the ceiling, waiting for my body to unlock. Sometimes I'd see shapes in the darkness. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps that weren't there. Sometimes I'd feel hands brushing my legs. But one night, 3 months ago, something changed. The shadows stopped acting like hallucinations. They started behaving like visitors. The first night I decided to record myself, I wasn't trying to prove anything supernatural. I just wanted to show my doctor what an episode looked like. I propped my phone on my dresser, aimed at my bed, hit record, and went to sleep. At 2:13 a.m., the episode hit. I woke up, couldn't move. The familiar pressure on my chest returned like a heavy hand. I tried to scream, but my jaw wouldn't open. Then I felt it, movement. Not in the room, in the shadows of the room. Something peeled itself out of the darkness near my closet. Tall, too tall. Its edges rippled like heat off asphalt. Then another. Then another. They didn't walk, they slid, as if distance meant nothing to them. I couldn't turn my head, but I could see them in my peripheral vision, forming a loose circle around my bed. Watching, waiting. The terror wasn't just that they were there, it was that they felt familiar. When the paralysis ended, I bolted upright and turned every light on in the apartment. Nothing was there, just shadows behaving like shadows again. I watched the playback immediately. At first, all I saw was myself lying there, still, rigid. Then the ambient light shifted slightly, and the shadows moved independently. 3 tall silhouettes detached from the corners of my room. They leaned inward, toward me, around my bed. My shadow, cast faintly on the wall, didn't move with my body. It stretched, pulled, as if something was gripping it from the other side. I dropped my phone. I wanted to believe it was just a visual artifact, low light glitches, compression errors, motion blur. So I recorded again the next night, and the next. Every episode showed the same thing. The shadows always arrived moments after the paralysis began. Always 3 of them, always gathering closer. But the most horrifying discovery came on the 4th recording. I slowed the footage frame by frame when the shadow of my head stretched along the wall. It didn't stay attached to me, it separated. A thin, black filament connected it to my real body, like a cord tethering a balloon, and one of the shadow figures was pulling it. I took the footage to a neurologist. He watched in silence, rewound it 3 times, then said something that terrified me far more than disbelief. He said, "Your body is paralyzed, but your shadow is behaving like an autonomous projection." I didn't even know how to respond to that. He explained that during extreme dissociation, the brain sometimes spatially separates body awareness and identity mapping. Essentially, my mind could be misplacing the boundary of myself. But when I asked him about the other shadows, he paused, then said, "Those don't track with any known neurological model." He advised me to stop recording. Naturally, I didn't. The next episode felt different. The air in the room felt heavier, thicker, like humidity before a storm. When the paralysis hit, the shadows were already there, standing closer than ever. One of them leaned toward my face, and for the first time, it spoke, not out loud, inside my head. A chorus of voices layered into one. "You're slipping out of alignment." My shadow stretched violently against the wall. I felt a tug in my chest, a sickening internal pulling sensation like something was trying to extract me through my own silhouette. Then suddenly the episode ended. I collapsed onto the floor, vomiting. I didn't watch the footage that night. I was afraid of what I'd see. I started researching shadow entities, sleep paralysis folklore, interdimensional theories. Every culture had a version. The night hag, the old crone, the shadow walkers, the visitors between breaths. 2 weeks ago, I recorded the worst episode yet. I woke up unable to breathe. My room was filled with shadow, every corner darker than physics should allow. The 3 figures stood inches from my bed. My shadow was nearly fully detached now, stretching across the wall like a torn piece of myself trying to escape. One of the beings bent down until its featureless face was inches from mine, and it spoke again. "Your replacement is almost synchronized." Then I felt something sit on my chest. Not weight. Pressure from the wrong direction. I watched the footage the next morning, and that's when I saw it. In the corner of the frame, there was someone else standing beside my bed, perfectly solid, perfectly still. A woman, with my face. Since that night, strange things keep happening in my apartment. Objects are moved that I don't remember touching. Food disappears that I don't remember eating. The mirror sometimes shows me moving a second after I do. But the scariest thing is that my sleep paralysis has stopped completely. No more episodes, no shadows, no fear at night, just deep, uninterrupted sleep. Something the doctors always said I desperately needed, and that's when I realized the truth. They never wanted my body. They wanted my position, my place in this reality. Yesterday, I slowed down my most recent footage, the one with the double. At the very last frame, just before the recording cuts, the shadow version of me turns its head toward the camera and smiles. I noticed something else too. My original shadow on the wall is no longer attached to me. It's attached to her. I'm still here, I still wake up, I still eat, I still breathe. But when I walk past reflective surfaces, my reflection is always half a second delayed. And at night, when the lights are off, my shadow doesn't match my movements anymore. Sometimes, it turns toward the bedroom door, like it's waiting for someone to come home. I used to think the shadow people were trying to take me. Now I know the truth, they already did, and I'm just what's left behind. If you made it to the end, don't forget to check your shadow before you turn off the lights tonight. Just make sure it's still moving with you, and not waiting for something you can't see. If you enjoyed this story and want more nightmares like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what horror you want next. Until then, sleep tight, and whatever you do, don't look at the wall.